Welcome back to the campaign playthrough of Legion TD2 on hard. Today we're playing against Juniper. She is using the Grove Legion as far as I understand. The line, the Grove is a sacred place. Outsiders are not welcome. I mean, she sometimes uses other units too, but always starts off with like many Grove units. And she always starts a Vile Shroom and uses healing and sends on natural/fortified waves. Okay, and on hard mode, all her fighters heal 1% of their max health per second, which makes it pretty hard to beat her. So we're playing the Forsaken Legion. It's one of the stronger legions, but it's pretty weak against Juniper specifically, because Juniper tends to send on Forsaken's weaker waves. So command the Walking Dead from an ancient kingdom. Okay, let's do it. Let's play the Nightmare opener, which is one of the most iconic Legion openers. Because Nightmare is just such a high DPS, fragile unit. And it's just amazing to play. I love it. I personally just love it. And as you can see, Juniper starting with 2 Vile Shrooms. So the classic bot overbuild is happening. So there's no way to punish her early on. We just have to income and scale. Okay, spells, Creditor, Sorcerer, Magician. Sorcerer and Magician won't be very useful for us. So we might be able to go for Creditor, because at least on wave 12 Juniper doesn't send. So let's see. And the early game will be just income and king and scale. And as you can see, I'm queuing the 5th worker. You want to push 5 workers with a Nightmare opener if you somehow can. If you get a king up or a snail on one, you always can. Wave 3 is a bit tricky, but with a decent build you can always hold any income send, and against the brute you typically only league brute and 2 or 3 creeps, which is totally fine for being 5 workers. Keep in mind that you are feeding the opponent a bit of gold every time you send, but it's typically worth it to send a lot with Nightmare openers, just because you can greet a lot if you have a good build. Especially with the Butcher, because then lifesteal, and lifesteal can just be abused a ton in Legion. It just gives your unit so much more free HP. So yeah, Juniper typically sends like 1 snail on wave 3. So yeah, there we go. Totally fine. So if this was a ranked game... So it's always the question, if you get a big send on wave 3, you can almost always push to 7 workers with Nightmare and accept a small leak on wave 5. I'm not sure if I want to do it. I did get that in time. Okay. Let's just risk it. You know, let's just risk it. So you definitely want to get out the Butcher for wave 5, because it's your only decent unit that you can get out for wave 5. And it will go here, so it tanks the boss. And ideally you want to add like a Bone Warrior here. If you can't do that, then against the Brute you'll leak pretty big. And Dino or bigger sets also, for sure. But Juniper is an overbuilding monster, so I just hope I don't get a big send. And I would like to have this wave take 10 more seconds so I can get another snail out, but I probably don't. Which will make the next wave, yeah, a bit tricky. Okay, so let's just pray that she doesn't send me a brute. If she sends lizard snail, I should be fine. Against the brute, I'll probably leak pretty big. But you know, playing it safe is just boring, and I don't want to be the boring one that always overbuilds, even though I sometimes do it in ranked. So let's pray Ah, thank God. Oh, now the Butcher is tanking everything now. I would have liked 1 or 2 creeps to be on the Nightmare, so this will be a leak. It won't be the end of the world though. Go for the Nightmare. Yes, okay, good. Yeah, this I'm pretty sure this build will, if you run it a couple of times, sometimes it would hold, sometimes it will leak. Yeah, this is fine. This leak is totally fine for being 8 workers now. Because Juniper will be like 6 or something. So we have an economic advantage and we don't take a lot of king damage here. With 6 workers instead of the 7 that I had at the wave start, you can hold every time. But that's no way to play Legion. Okay, so I'm expecting a resend here. It shouldn't be a big resend, I hope. That's why I pushed to 8. I'm 75 under, but my units are pretty good here. Maybe I actually don't want to do this, but I want to do the Green Devil because the Green Devil is better here. Yeah, I'll do it like this, and I think this is better. Okay, triple snail is fine in any case, I think. Okay. I thought for a second my Nightmare would take too much, but it isn't, so... This is the perfect aggro share that you always dream of. So since we had Ascent, I'll push 1 worker. In Ranked I would push 2 probably, but I don't want to take a risk. Because I know Juniper will be saving till wave 9 now. And I want to be able to do decently on wave 9. I won't hold wave 9, I'm pretty sure, because wave 9 is just... yeah, strong. Very strong, to be honest. But let's see. I mean, maybe I can pull something out of that. And more king ups because she's overbuilding and unleakable early. I mean, it's just the typical bot behavior. This isn't too much value actually, but the 1% extra life regen gives like every fighter like 10 HP per second. And this is so strong on early game waves that it's just flat out impossible to leak. So, of course in ranked or classic or whatever, I would always check what is my enemy building, how much value will he have. But with these bots, it's just unnecessary. I mean, these builds are decent. They are not great, but they are decent. And just because of the sheer amount of value, it's 100% impossible to leak early on. And especially with the life regen, there's just no way. Okay, so what I'm doing here is now I'm building a gate guard, which will be good for wave 9, which is bad here. And I'm shifting gold, because I know Juniper won't send me here. And then I can get out the doppelganger for next wave, which isn't great typing-wise, but it's just a super strong unit with lifesteal. So I hope that will give me, well, it will either give me a full hold or like a 67% lead, because either it will get to the point where it just out-heals the wave, or it won't. And if it doesn't, then I leak big, and if I don't, and if it does get to that point, I will hold. Yeah. And as you can see on wave 8, you're just very, very strong. So it's typically fine to be undervalued in wave 8. Even though if you get like a big tank on wave 8, like a pack leader, you are in trouble with Forsaken. So keep that in mind. You can't always do this shifting business if you play against the same guy very often. But most players will see, it's a Nightmare build, it's weak on wave 9, so I'll go wave 9. So you can get away with murder in some sense there. It's a very strong tactic. Okay, let's see how Mr. Doppel is doing. And Mr. Doppel is getting 2%. 2 extra attack damage for every hit he does. So the longer the wave goes, the more attack damage he will deal, and the more attack damage he deals, the more he will lifesteal. And as you can see, he is already starting to out-heal the wave, especially with the Dark Mage buff. So this is a free hold. Ah, this is just amazing. Amazing. Gives me all the good Legion vibes that we had back in the day when everyone was playing Forsaken, because it's just that strong. Ah, I love it. Just makes me smile. Okay, a Doppelganger is also crazy strong on wave 10. So all you need to do is you need to make sure that the boss doesn't go left and attacks the Doppel first. If the Doppel gets some time to stack up, it will be super strong. But you need to make sure that this happens. Contrary to wave 5, where you want the boss to go into your Nightmare so you can kill it, on wave 10 you want to have it go into your split. So let's see if we leak Juniper. Juniper sometimes underbuilds massively for wave 10, so I tried to full send here. The snails typically are good against the rangers. And it worked. And we held easily because Mr. Doppel is just a boss. Nice. So this is going really well. We need to be a bit careful. Wave 11 is one of the natural weak waves, and Juniper also sends on that wave. So let's see how much we're under here. Okay. So option 1. Just send it. Just fully risk it. Option 2 is built like this. Okay, I'll do the following. I'll take Predator, and now you'll probably be flaming me. Why the F is he taking Predator if he only shifts 12 gold? The reason is that Predator is a 3-wave spell, so we can keep up to 180%, 180 gold, and get 50% of what we saved up. And as you can see, this is 6 gold on wave 11, but now I'm strong on wave 12 and I'm strong on wave 13. So I will be able to farm this gold on wave 12 and wave 13. So, of course I lose like 80 gold here, just because I want to hold, but it will be worth it. And now seeing how poorly I'm doing against this very small Sen, I'm very happy I just didn't read the Creditor. Okay, so next wave. This is... okay, I can shift up to 180 gold, but I kind of want to have a second Nightmare. So I think this is a decent thing. Okay, we should have taken a look what spell he took. I did not. He does not have any spell as far as I can see. So he probably has Creditor as well. But he's crazy strong. No, Sorcerer on a Consort. Brilliant decision. Clapped for the bot logic. Sorcerer increases the spell damage of the unit by 50%. Consort deals only spell damage when it dies. So instead of dealing 280 damage, it deals 420 damage when it dies. So that's absolutely hot garbage on a Consort. And I can just tell you guys, never do it. Like, a good choice for Sorcerer would have been the Banana Bunk or Banana Haven here. So So yeah, there will be a send here, and I'm 60 under, but these doppels are just so strong here, there's no way I'm leaking, and now I can just push super hard. Okay, so my full sending here was actually worth it because he only has bad units on wave 13. Okay, so what do I want for next? I can push even more. So wave 13 is typically the first wave where you can break Juniper. Everything beforehand, I mean wave 10 you can quote unquote leak her, but it's not a big leak. But on wave 13 she typically has bad units, so wave 13 and the region isn't strong on 13, so it's typically a good decision to send on wave 13. And from then on out, you can leak her on many waves. The thing is, she's pretty strong on 14 and 15, so I kind of want to go 16, but I don't want to go straight 16, so I'll do a few king ups here. And what you can see is that I'm building an LOD here, a Lord of Death, which will be good on 15, but is weak here. But there's no way I'm leaking here. With double lifesteal doppelgangers, there's absolutely no chance I'm leaking here. And by the way, these lifesteals stack because these are different units, right? These are different auras. The Butcher aura, the Head Chef aura is called Cannibalism, and the Butcher aura is I think it's called Leech. So the Doppel is, if I can click it, the Doppels are affected by Leech and by Cannibalism, so they have the double lifesteal that we're after. Which is, I mean, if you just build a doppelganger and put like 2 butchers on it, like the non-upgraded ones, it won't stack. But different auras do stack. Okay, wave 15 is one of the natural weak waves of Forsaken. I am not sure if I will be able to hold here. The Hades is very strong, but I can't really... I mean, yeah, it should be alright. I'm 235 under, so let's just hope for a bad send. But even if I leak here, it's not the end of the world. I have a strong king. I am ahead in basically every regard. I'll be strong on 16, and Juniper will just lose on wave 16. Ooh, 4 snails. Extra mana for Mr. Hades. Very nice. The Hades has an ability whenever it last hits a unit. Killing a unit restores 15% of max mana, so you don't want to send small units against the Hades, because typically it ends up last hitting it a few units, and then it gets like more summons out. And even the Thanatos has an ability that makes it heal whenever it gets the last hit, so yeah. Ooh, and Juniper is just completely out of the game, leaking to no send here. She's just too far behind at this point to ever recover. As I said, I was thinking we were gonna leak, but that doesn't matter. King is strong enough to cover, and on next wave, Juniper is just completely ruined. I mean, there's no way she'll hold a big send if she's leaking to no send. And now we get double workers. Juniper won't send here because it's not a fortified wave. Going to go for a couple of Harbingers. And I'll send a few more Aura units, because Aura units are pretty good sends on 16. Just because 16 is a swarm wave, so it's 18 per spawn. And yeah, that makes the Auras that much more efficient. And there's no good unit on Juniper that I would need to specifically counter with, say, a 4 Eyes or an Ogre or a Siege Ram or whatever. So let's see how she's doing. It does not look good. The white main is already dead. The banana bunk does nothing. Yep, and this will be game. I mean, this is a big league, and the king has no upgrades. This will end the game here. So we finally managed to beat the hard version of Juniper. And it is really hard. I mean, sometimes you lose to these bots. I mean, there are diamond rating for a reason. So, victory. Hooray! We won! And, I mean, as you can see, just going back to the early game, it's 3 workers, 4 workers, and then after wave 3, I think we keep the worker advantage for the entire game. It's 5 to 4, 7 to 5, 7 to 6, 8 to 8, actually, wow. 9 to 10, holy crap, Juniper pushed hard this game. Woo. She never does that. Interesting. Fair play, but that's why she leaked on wave 10, because she has 1000 value. Okay, wow, I should have paid more attention. The wave 9 hold was great, of course. And then the Creditor versus the Sorcerer on a Consort gave me a big advantage. But even though I was behind on workers, I was always ahead in income. Like, checking the income, okay, 6 to 11, because she starts with 5 income for playing Mastermind, apparently. 18 to 17, 24 to 17, 36 to 35, 60 to 53. And the income is the number that matters. Usually the workers scale into more income, but she sent a pack leader which I could hold, and then I was just ahead. But wow, I guess she learned how to push since the last time I played. Interesting. Okay, in any case, this build that I showed you is like reasonably good, even for classics or ranked or whatever, if you get these units. So I hope you could learn something, and I wish you good luck in your games.